Hey listeners, Hit the Books podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and more. Be sure to tune in each week and like, rate, and subscribe.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 26 of Hit the Books, your weekly podcast here to deliver news and betting advice from around all of the leagues. This episode, we have MLB Spring Training coming up this week, March Madness right around the corner, and a full slate of news from our favorite leagues like the NHL and the NBA. On top of that, we are excited for yet another week of doing the show, and I think it's time to jump in and introduce my co-hosts. First up of my three co-hosts is Mackie. Mackie helping his team secure the ACC D2 championship over the weekend. Huge stuff there, dude. Welcome back to the show. What's happening, buddy?
Yeah, I got some hardware this weekend. No big deal. Just back to doing what I love. NHL card rolling, college basketball card rolling. NBA just took a little bit of a break, so we haven't had plays from there in for about a week. But these picks are really just getting going right now. College basketball is right around 20 units right now. NHL I think is back in double digits. Is it not?
Yeah, it's like 10, 13 maybe.
Yeah, so we're really rolling right now. Just keep following that. Other than that, not much going on. What's going on with you guys? Jesse, back to you.
Yeah, not much going on with me, Mackie. I appreciate it. Let's shoot over to Huff here next. What's going on, buddy? Nice to see you for another week.
Yo, what's going on? Happy to be back. Like we said, another week closer to March Madness as we wind down the month of February and get the NBA back rolling tomorrow night. But like Mackie said, the NHL and NCAA basketball card have been rolling. And as NBA gets off a all-star break, looking to get that one up in the double-digit units with the rest of them. I think that one's sitting around 7.5 or 8 too. So yeah, not much. Had a pretty unreal week gambling. Honestly, had hit a couple crazy parlays over the past couple days. But it's been a great week. Anytime you have success on the books, it's a good week. So, but happy to be back.
17 units,
so.
Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah,
love that. Can't beat that, honestly. Finally, let's finish it up with Ace. The Bruins are still hot. More on that. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, like you said, the Bruins are still the best team in the league. We've been saying it all year. Love to hear that. Love to hear everybody else saying it. So keep saying it whenever you want. But congratulations to Mackie. I think after securing that title on his resume, you can probably put him up there with above Carey Price and Henrik Lundqvist. They've never gotten one.
They've never gotten over.
Yeah, so he's got one now. You can put that on the resume. Way to be. Also, love to hear the daily cards eating still. Like we said, post Super Bowl, now we can lock in on those other sports, and we've been double digits almost all year consistently on both the NHL and NCAA card. And like Huff said, we'll get that NBA one rolling too. So the boys are buzzing right now. Definitely tap in. We got a lot more to come for you.
Mackie bringing home the championship for Dub V. Is that, unarguably got to be one of the best goaltenders in West Virginia hockey history right there.
Yeah,
Fifth-year senior.
I think so.
First ring.
5-year career,
5-year career. It's about time I got one. Ring me.
Huff, have you heard the rumblings of the number to the rafters at the end of this year?
Yeah, Mackie might be the last one to wear 3-2 in a Mountaineer blue and gold uniform.
I heard we're paying
should
for
be
it.
The last one to wear a single 3 would be long-time listener Anderson Collins. Definitely shout out to that guy real quick. But without him, Mackie wouldn't be raising that cup. I'll let you tell. Let me tell you.
That's true. Shout out 3.
Solid stuff there, boys. Great introduction there. It's time to jump in some of these sports that we like to talk about each and every week. Why don't we start with some college basketball news? The big news out of the college basketball world is that Alabama basketball has itself back in the news, and it's not due to its continued success on the court this season. their former basketball player and projected 2023 NBA lottery pick Brandon Miller, I'm getting all these names mixed up, allegedly provided the gun used by also former Alabama basketball player Darius Miles in a January murder. Head coach Nate Oates said he had a stupid quote about the situation along the lines of, "We knew about that. We can't control everything anyone does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor is he in any type of trouble. In this case, wrong spot at the wrong time." The text between Miles and Miller, I couldn't find them exactly, but it was along the lines of, "Hey, bring your gun," which is pretty.
That's a bit.
It seemed pretty to the point
being...
from what I was reading, but go ahead.
Brandon Miller texted Darius Miles and said the heat is in the hat, and there's something about and then he had some other there's one in the head or something like that, meaning there's one in the chamber. So
These
you
guys
knew what was
corny.
going on.
These guys are corny.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was a little bit more than just wrong spot at the wrong time. It sounds like
wrong spot, wrong time.
Why? Come on, man. But I mean, yeah, you gotta win a national championship, so you gotta protect your best player and your lottery pick player.
Yeah, this is an ugly scene, I think, for Alabama. Mackie, we were saying before this. I don't know. I think this kind of kills their season. Obviously, we're gonna see what happens because now the NCAA is stepping in on Miller. Obviously, he hasn't been charged with anything criminally with what he has done or said through conversations with him and Darius Miles, but this is definitely an interesting situation that is unfolding, obviously, more and more. As like I said, the past 2 days, this has gotten more throughout the news world and the sports news world. But I'm very interested to see what happens with this because, obviously, Alabama being the 1 seed, the top dog in college basketball right now. So I'm very interested to see what this does to the rest of their season, pending his suspension, if he gets suspended, the whole thing like that. Ace, go ahead.
Yeah, so the crazy thing is, obviously, you don't expect to hear something like that. But as more of a casual college basketball follower, really just tailing your guys' picks, which is nice because you guys are on fire. You don't really think of Alabama as a basketball school. So when you see them having a great success like this, it's pretty crazy. But most of the followers out there, like myself, that aren't tapped in every day, make sure you're aware of this. I mean, they're going to go in as a high seed still, because of their play throughout the year. Be wary of these lineups as they go in and seeing who's in and out, not only with this situation, injuries and whatnot too. So just tough scene for Alabama fans, thinking they had something going this year and then this happens.
Yeah,
they've had enough success on the football field. They don't need a basketball championship. They've had enough success on the football field. Stick to football. Let the other schools have fun on the hardwood. They don't need. I hate that they're good at basketball now too.
The last time I think I heard of Alabama basketball, weren't they the team that had a bunch of guys ejected and they played 3-on-5 and Colin Sexton was playing?
Colin Sexton.
I was going to say Colin Sexton.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the craziest I heard. So hearing they have a great season and then getting it ruined by something like this, you hate to see that. So we'll see how it shakes out, but definitely be wary. That could be an upset waiting to happen come March Madness.
Yeah, Mackie, what's are they going to be a 1 seed in the tournament?
I mean, if a lot can happen.
If nothing changes, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I think they're third overall right now.
That'll be interesting. Come down the stretch, we'll see how those lines are looking come time when all this settles.
Florida 2.0 right here.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm watching. There's a headline about this behind me, so obviously next week I think we'll have a lot more of maybe a resolution on this one. But season continues to go on, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do if he's going to keep playing. I haven't heard anything with that, but I mean, he's played the past 10 games since Alabama has learned about this incident, and obviously the coach, president of the school haven't really thought too much of it. But I mean, like I said, he hasn't been charged with anything criminally, so like I see why they're letting him, like if you're going off by the books, hey, he didn't do anything criminally, you want to look at it that way. But I don't know, this whole situation I can't wait to see where this goes because, like I said, I don't like that Alabama's good at basketball. They're very good at football, and I think they should just stick to that. But they have a very good team, and I think that with him, without him, they'll have a decent tournament run. But obviously having a top 10 lottery pick in the NBA on your roster in college basketball is a huge bonus in March Madness. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to touch on. You were mentioning the draft there before we get off of our college basketball notes, and obviously be aware of that 8x8 that we're looking to get going between the boys and get you guys following along. Hopefully some of our followers can get some of their own going. We'll have our brackets as well. That'll be coming in soon when we get those seeds and whatnot. But one thing, I put a note down at the bottom. Did you guys see that? I saw something the other day. I don't know even know if it has any relevance, but Bronny James projected to go to the Magic in one of the latest mock drafts. And you remember when LeBron was in the bubble and he said, if I ever go to the Orlando Magic, then I'm retiring from the NBA. I mean, that would be
why did he
funny
say
situation.
that?
He doesn't want to play for the Magic. LeMackey, come on.
To live in Orlando.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't think it's that bad either, but I mean,
I think I saw that. I did see that, and I saw the quote. I saw someone make the quote. It was like Bronny in a Magic jersey, and then LeBron, and then the quote underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say you probably saw the same thing, and then I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'm like thinking about the Magic, and like we've taken the Magic a couple times this year. They're like a decent team, but like there's a reason they're picking number 1 overall. I don't know, like LeBron's dying to go there, but also I don't think he's like trying to build a championship team. I think at that point, I think he's just trying to hoop with his son and maybe make a playoff run and do what he
exactly what he's doing. But he could still play at that level. So I think Bronny's his stock definitely goes up because you're getting LeBron James with Bronny technically.
And we know the LeBron James effect. I mean, he's going to get another free agent there. Someone else is going to go there that is younger than LeBron that will probably take over the team with Bronny when LeBron retires. You know what I mean?
Reading up on that, I saw some more though. They were like, the only reason they'd be taking Bronny James there, I mean, they're loaded at guard with all those young picks they've had, early picks the last few years too, and Banchero is looking like he's going to be a stud. But yeah, they would only do this for a money perspective. So obviously, whoever gets Bronny James, if they take him this year, isn't that a big time reach, anyways?
Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1. You're getting LeBron with him.
Yeah, and you're getting a lot of money to your franchise with all the publicity, jersey sales.
Yeah, the publicity is crazy, man.
Yep.
You're on national TV 2 times a week if you have LeBron James, at least.
I'd reach for him if I'm a bottom of the barrel team. I mean, your team's going to get better, and you're
going to
get a bunch of publicity. Yeah.
Yeah, a team like the Magic that hasn't seen the finals since 2011 with Dwight Howard when they played Kobe. I mean, there's teams that haven't had that much success in the past, even 20 years in the NBA. I think they would, if you have a chance to even see the playoffs, like a lot of these teams, like Atlanta Hawks, like I know they're a younger team that's had success. Like just like any of those teams, if you're in the top 5, trade your best player to get in that top pick. Like you're getting LeBron with them. Like a lot of teams would do that. I don't care how old LeBron is. I think a lot of teams would do that.
Yeah, so I just thought that was something funny to bring up. So that'll be definitely interesting to see how that folds out. But we have a lot more college basketball madness ahead of us coming this month. Turns around, so definitely be on the lookout for that.
How are they even doing a mock draft of the next draft?
Yeah, I don't really know. I guess it's a really early mock draft. He hasn't even committed.
The publicity that Bronny James. That would be if he went right from high school.
He hasn't even committed to a college, and people are already like, he's going number 1 overall to the Orlando Magic in 2024.
That's honestly wild.
Well, he doesn't. Does he have to go to college, or is he? No, he's not going to do the overseas.
You can go G League.
Like LaMelo. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to.
He's not doing G League. He's gonna do what,
G League.
Yeah, I could see it too.
He would not go overseas. He'd either do G League or go to college.
Yeah, he'd go to
probably
a top
going to college.
Program or I could see him go
I
to
feel like
UCLA.
he could only hurt his stock in college though.
You're not wrong.
I just think he's gonna go to Ohio State.
Could see that.
That'll be interesting to see though.
If LeBron's still a Laker, I could see him go to UCLA.
No, I don't think he stays in LA. I do not think he stays in LA. He was offered USC too.
They're good. I think, yeah. I see Ace's point though. Him going to college really could him winning a national championship that solidifies it. That's something that his dad never did that he could have a chance to do, which would be cool. But other than that, like if he's a first, second round exit, we're talking about Bronny James is like, unless he's light years ahead of everyone, it's going to be like Ace said, like is the team really going to reach for him just to get his dad too?
An older too.
But I mean, that's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, and that's not even this March Madness. That's next March Madness. So we'll get into that as we get. Maybe after he commits to school, we'll talk about this again.
LeBron James. The media can't stay away from.
It literally can't,
including us.
It's the GOAT. One of them.
All right, let's wrap up our college basketball talk there. Selection Sunday just 3 weeks away, but we'll have more here on that in the coming weeks. Let's jump over to some NFL real quick here. Eric Bieniemy has agreed to become Bieniemy has agreed to become the next offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, leaving behind Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs after winning 2 Super Bowls as their offensive coordinator. Big move there. We talked about this a little bit in the chat. What do you guys think on this? Huff, you want to get us going on here?
Yeah, when I saw this, I was a little bit surprised, and after kind of taking in what ESPN, a lot of the big head ESPN analysts had to say about this, and everyone saying, he hasn't had the fair chance to be a NFL head coach. I feel like the past 5 years, all we've heard about is him have chances to be a head coach, but whether it's legitimate or if it's part of the Rooney Rule, they're just interviewing him because he's an African American head or coach or prospect, I guess you'd say. But him going to Washington, I think this is definitely an interesting kind of situation because under Rivera, a defensive head coach, Bieniemy is going to be able to go there with not really much to work with. Obviously, you have guys like Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson at running back. They have other skilled players like Jahan Dotson, and it seems like I think they named Sam Howell their starter going into next year, which obviously he had decent success beating Mackey's Cowboys towards the end of the season last year. He's shown that he could have success in the NFL, whether it's long term or if that was just a game here and a game there. But I think with Bieniemy going there, it gives him the opportunity to build his team the way he wants it to, and he's truly the one calling the plays because I feel like a lot of the slander he got in Kansas City was because Andy Reid. A lot of people thought Andy Reid was the one calling the plays, and you heard Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl saying Big Red just calls him up at the right time. It's almost like, and I've heard different situations where Bieniemy isn't necessarily known as a player's coach, so I don't know if he just had some bad blood with the Chiefs, obviously winning 2 Super Bowls with them. I don't think you can have too much hate for a team, but I think this is an interesting matchup. We're going to see one of the better offensive coordinators with an offense that isn't really known for putting up points, so we'll see how he can build this thing up. But Ace, I don't know what you had to think about this. Obviously the Chiefs, Mahomes losing his offensive coordinator that he's had throughout his whole career. Do you think, he's the baby goat, but do we see any kind of step back? And obviously we don't know who their offensive coordinator is going to be in Kansas City, but what do you think about this?
Yeah, obviously some people would expect to see some regression when you lose your coordinator that you've been working with for your whole career. But, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's a superhuman, so I don't really think that'll be an issue. I think, if anything, it'll open up a new door for some new plays to be added to that playbook. And I really think the impact that Andy Reid has on the team and that offense as a whole is really the big deal there. So I think they won't miss a beat. Obviously, great move by the Commanders to acquire him, especially as a coordinator too, so he can do what he does best. But I think Andy Reid and the Chiefs will be fine. I don't think you'll see any poor effects from that. I think their offense is great, but I think it could be light years better than it was this year, which is crazy to say since they just won the Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm eager to see what the Chiefs go into with their new direction, if they hire someone or if they hire within or whatnot. So it's pretty interesting.
They might have named someone, Mackie. While you give your opinions on this, I'm going to look up and see if the Chiefs have named an OC.
Yeah, I just think whoever you throw in an offensive coordinator in Kansas City, you still have Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce there, so you're going to be fine. They're still going to put up their points. But I think this is good for Bieniemy because, like you said, everyone's looking at Andy Reid calling the plays, and you're going to Ron Rivera, who's a defensive coach. You have all control of that offense, so everything that happens in that offense falls back on your shoulders. So we're really going to see what kind of coach he actually is, see if he can really handle an offense that doesn't have Pat Mahomes controlling that offense. So it's going to be a little harder for him. We're going to see what he can do, and I think it's a good move for him to see what puts him in a good spot.
So the Chiefs are expected to promote senior assistant and quarterbacks coach Matt Nagy, former head coach with the Bears, to offensive coordinator. Through the Chiefs will need to satisfy the Rooney Rule and interview an external minority coaching candidate for the offensive coordinator gig. So they'll still need to hold, the whole court of the interview process, but they're believed to promote Matt Nagy.
Yeah, you're just throwing somebody in there to have that position. Andy Reid is really making those final calls.
Good stuff there, guys. Interesting to see what's going to happen there with the Commanders picking up a new offensive coordinator. Chiefs also looking at a new one as well there. Good stuff. Next up, the Titans releasing some big names. 3-time Pro Bowler left tackle Taylor Lewan, wide receiver Robert Woods, and kicker Randy Bullock. 3 bigger names there for the Titans. Where do we think they're going to end up? What do we think is going to happen? What do we got? Mackie, what do you think? Anything special?
They're just clearing house right now. Total rebuild mode, it looks like. I don't know what they're going to do. Robert Woods is a free agent. I don't know. It'll be nice to see where he goes. Taylor Lewan, I didn't see this coming. Hoff, did you see this coming? I mean...
Yeah, he's been talking about it for the past... He's been talking about this for the past couple of weeks, months on the... Whether it was his social media or the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, but he's been kind of hinting at it just to try to get in front of it. He said to Big Cat and PFT, I think in an interview last week, he goes, well, no, I'll be testing the free agent market. And Big Cat goes, oh, you think you're getting cut? He goes, no, I know I'm getting cut. So he's been kind of putting this out there that he was getting ready for it. So when the news came, he was already, oh yeah, I knew this was coming. You know what I mean? But I kind of was right there. Obviously, when he's the one saying it, I'm going to believe it. When he kept saying the new general manager in Tennessee, and now you see all these moves that they're making to rebuild their roster, and he wants to get this new general manager wants to get a team that he's built in there, and we have guys like you said, Robert Woods, who was on the Rams, and he's had success. He had a kind of a weird season with the Titans, and we saw his reaction after he was released this morning saying, I'm free. So obviously some bad blood between Woods and the Titans, but Lewan been a left tackle, drafted in the first round by them and been there for the past 9 years. Definitely I'd say one of the most dominant Titans players, him, Derrick Henry over the past, my lifetime, really. Not too many Titans players. When you think of Titans players, I mean, you don't think offensive lineman, defensive lineman, but you think Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, and guys like that have been there forever. And I think Lewan still has a couple years under him. I'd love to see him in the black and gold. I said that a couple of weeks ago on the pod. And I just think what he has going for him off the field, I think if he's not offered a pretty big bag, I could see him walking away and podcasting full time and doing the Barstool gig full time. But a lot of people don't seem to think he's worth the money that I think he is. I texted my cousin. I go, I said, could you see the situation where the Steelers would offer Lewan a 1-year, $12.5 million deal? And he goes, I don't think he's worth anywhere near that money. I'm like, he's still, it's the resume. In the NFL, you pay for your resume. And I know he's had 2 ACL tears in the past 3 years. And your best ability is availability. But I think my take with this was, at least in my situation with the Steelers, I think he would be a great addition with a young offensive line that we have, a young quarterback, a young offense. He can come in and be a veteran leader and know that the Steelers are drafting your replacement in the next 2-3 years or even year. But, you're here for the next year and a half or 2 years, even year, just a guy that the rest of the offensive line can look up to and learn around and say, okay, this guy's been to the Pro Bowl. He's been to the, deep in the playoffs. He's been the best left tackle in the NFL. But I just think it would be a great move for the Steelers. But like I said, I also could see him retire and step away from the game. But I was always a fan of his. And then he's just a super likable dude. Other than that, I could see. I wish him, obviously, to come to the Steelers. But anywhere he goes or retires, I'm definitely going to be still a fan of him.
Yeah, Huff. I don't think he's as big of a name as you make him out to be. A cool guy, but I wouldn't be giving him $12.5 million a year. I'll tell you that.
It's left tackle money, dude. That's what they get.
Yeah, but you can find there's better options on the market for that price, I'd say. With those injuries, the injury pass, that's so tough. As an old guy too.
He's already got his name out in social media. You might as well just go to the podcast game. It's where, it's gonna work out for him.
I bet I wonder. It's obviously that's such a hard business to put a number on, what someone makes, but him and Will Compton, they have to be killing it. Obviously, Barstool, it's a Barstool podcast, but they have their own whiskey now. They're kind of doing the spin off of the Pink Whitney with Whistle Pig whiskey. They've been killing it, and because if he plays for another team, he's gonna have to leave Nashville. Their podcast is based out of Nashville. The bus is parked in a warehouse in Nashville because Will Compton lives there. Taylor Lewan obviously has talked about how he's wanted to be a Titan for his whole career. So I could see a situation where he steps away and retires a Titan.
Good situation for the Tennessee Titans, though. I think it's smart to go through a rebuild there and get rid of the aging pieces that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
They're not making a run anytime soon, especially with the emergence of Trevor Lawrence and those Jaguars and Colts are pretty feisty.
and they're trying to do kind of the opposite of what the Texans did this a couple years ago, unloading DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, Deshaun. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson thing wasn't really planned, but kind of unloading all those pieces, and now they have all the draft capital and the money saved up, and obviously it's looking like it could work out with all the picks that Houston has coming up, and not too bad of a team, but like you said, I think it's a smart move on Tennessee to hit the rebuild button.
Solid stuff there. One more big name here, Derek Carr. We talked about getting released last week, now a free agent. Where do we think he's going to end up? Where does he have his eyes set? What do you guys think?
Did you see the Jets told him he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of news with him going to the Jets, but I think the Saints is an option too, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, but I think the Jets would be the greatest fit for him. He has weapons, brings some veteran experience, and they've had problems at quarterback, and he shows he still had it in the Pro Bowl. But as a Patriots fan, I would love to see him go to the Jets.
You just want to play him twice a year.
Yeah, but he's honestly not that bad.
No,
yeah, he's not like the easiest quarterback to play twice a year, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think the best fit for any free agent quarterback in this offseason is pick a team in the NFC South and just go there and hope no one else goes there, because the division is wide open. If you go to a Saints team,
that's what Tom Brady did,
and it worked. He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made the playoffs every year, even with a losing record.
Yeah. It's like, if I'm a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Lamar with this contract situation. Hey, Atlanta, I know you don't have that great of a team, but we could win this division with just me. That's all you need. Give me a bunch of scrubs and I can win this division. Now, when we get to the playoffs, that's when we might win not win a game. We're going to be there. We might not win a game, but that's where you got to kind of get the pieces and pick the best roster that you think has the best chance. Obviously, Carolina had a nice season last year, just couldn't really get consistency at the quarterback position, but I think Carolina is a sleeper team for a lot of these quarterbacks.
Yes, a lot of big names here up for grabs here in the free agency of the NFL. So lots more to look forward to as the weeks come here in the offseason. We'll see what happens. All right, let's jump over to the NBA. First point I got here is that Sunday's NBA All-Star Game had its lowest rating of 4.59 million viewers. Ratings declined 29%, and overall viewership of the game decreased 27% from last year. So no good reviews there for the All-Star Game of the NBA. Same with the NHL, both leagues in shambles on that portion, I think. But what do you guys think? Anything on that?
Yeah, even the players were saying that's not even basketball. Nobody likes the NBA All-Star Game. Nobody tries. It just turns into just like trying moves that you can do. It's literally all it is. Nobody really enjoys it, so we'll see what they do with that.
Next up, after finalizing a contract buyout with the Jazz, 9-time All-Star guard Russell Westbrook plans to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers, his agent announced this week. What do you think?
I like this situation for Russ. I think him going there with Kawhi, Paul George, a healthy Clippers team, I think this is a team that could really have a run this year in the playoffs with a West market that's kind of gotten shaken up over the past couple of weeks. Obviously, we know what Phoenix did, and I think the Clippers are still right there, and obviously a team that, if Kawhi's available, they're a top team in the NBA. I think they have the bench and the depth players to play with anyone, but I'm interested to see how Russ fits in here. Ace, go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly think that this is a great move by Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Clippers. He's got a little bit of fire under him to beat his former team, and he joins the better Los Angeles team at the current. I thought I mentioned this last week, I think. They're kind of a dark horse, really, in that Western Conference. A lot of new hype over there, and they have the names that have gone far and done it before. They have Kawhi Leonard, they have Paul George. They have a plethora of guys behind them. Zubac and...
Where's Paul George gone?
Huh?
I don't even think Paul George made it to the second round.
Yeah,
when did he lose the Dame? When Dame did the wave?
That was first round.
Bubble PG.
Paul George is a hooper, bro, but he
Yeah,
can't.
but Kawhi.
He's not a winner.
I was saying more of Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, I mean he did.
Yeah, dude,
Kawhi.
that's all you need. That's all you need is Kawhi. I mean,
he's your leader, anyways. You have Kawhi, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, a lot of talent. Vika Zubac, and I think he's pretty good. They have some depth around them. That's a sleeper team. I mean, definitely can still probably get some decent odds on that. That would be something to look at for a long shot. I mean, that's a good big three. If Russ is on his game with those two around him, who knows?
I don't even think it's that big of a long shot. I think they have a serious chance.
No, I don't think
they're
this,
probably like the 8th favorite.
I don't think this changes their title chances. I don't think this is a big three whatsoever. I think Russ needs to come here and play a role. Just kind of, dude. He's not
off
who he
the
used
bench.
to be.
That's a great option off the bench.
Exactly, but it's not a big three. I mean, it's
I didn't
adding
mean
a
it as
nice
like
key
a big
piece.
three. Like,
It's the name. It's
like
the
that.
name.
No, but like people
Yeah.
are saying that, like people are saying like this new big three in LA, and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
dude,
no.
Russ
But if he can come off the bench with that second, if you can have Russell Westbrook playing good basketball off the bench, that's probably the 6th man of the year. In my opinion.
But like also, Mackie, another way to look at this is like Kawhi. I know we're getting down to the grind of the NBA season, coming down to the playoffs, so coming out of All-Star break. But like Kawhi isn't always the most available player. So when Paul George is out there by himself, now you have Russell Westbrook. You can put him into your starting lineup when Kawhi doesn't play. Go Westbrook at the 1, PG at the 2, and they have depth everywhere else. But I don't know. I think this is a good move for them, but I was kind of down on him with the Lakers, and then he started to play a better role, and then they shipped him out as soon as he kind of had somewhat of a stock, and they got their return for him. But Lakers got D'Angelo Russell. I like that move for them. I don't know if we talked about that, but
Yeah, we did last week. They had some good deadline moves as well. But one more piece on that Clippers team. I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off of Kawhi and PG, even when they are in Huff. That was a good point about his availability. But when we think about the Clippers team, what's their strength is defense. So they keep teams low. If you can get a few extra buckets from Russell Westbrook every night, I mean, that could be the difference between winning and losing. I mean, I think this team can go far. They went, to the second round last year? Maybe.
Westbrook's a defensive liability, and they lost to the Mavericks last year.
Yeah, no, but the Clippers as a whole, their team is defensive powerhouse. So if you can add someone that can get buckets now, I mean, that's where they struggled in the past, was their depth off the bench and scoring, I would say.
Yeah, we'll see what you can do. I don't think this changes this Clippers team's chances. I think they're definitely they were a sleeper before, and they're still a sleeper.
Mackey's staying asleep. Who do you like more? The Kyrie,
No, I
Luka?
like the Clippers. I think they've been a sleeper team. I think they've been one of the more valuable teams to make a run at this championship, just because you have Kawhi and he can do whatever he wants. But I don't think this addition changes anything whatsoever.
That makes sense. Who do you like further down the stretch run? That Kyrie and Luka duo or this Clippers team?
I'd go Kyrie and Luka just because we saw it last year without Kyrie and Luka still beat them. So you add Kyrie to that.
That'd be interesting.
that'd be a good series.
It literally happened last year. They beat Luka tore them apart.
Yeah, Luka. That was the game when Luka hit that crazy buzzer beater. That was so sick.
Dude, I think they beat him by like 40 in Game 7.
Yeah, I just remember the Luka buzzer beater. That's the only game I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do something a little different this year. Kawhi's playing a little more than he is this year than he did last year. I don't know. We'll see. I think definitely runs through Phoenix though. Gotta get by KD.
Good stuff there. Couple injuries in the NBA or from around the league. First up is the Bulls rollout guard Lonzo Ball for the remainder of the season with a knee injury, so big loss there for the Bulls. And next up is Giannis out for the Bucks with an injury of his right wrist. He will play once pain subsides. Not sure when that will be. I don't think it'll be too long, but no timeline that I saw. Any thoughts on that?
Lonzo's
That's
just,
I was gonna say that's
his-
the NBA. If Lonzo,
his season.
go ahead.
No, I just think Lonzo's career is coming to a really big. I don't even know what to call it. Just like a complete
An abrupt halt.
Yeah, I mean, he just
A
can't
cliff?
stay healthy. It's this knee. It's his knee problems. And I don't know what are you gonna do about that. You can't really play basketball if you don't have knees. They're definitely the most important thing
Can't
in your
argue
body.
with that. Yeah.
Can't argue with that, Mackie. You're right.
But yeah, Giannis will be back for the playoffs.
Nothing to worry about, Giannis. I mean, it's just something to say.
Alrighty, next up is two-time NBA champion Kevin Love is joining the Miami Heat after being waived by the Cavs this past week. Can Miami make a run in the playoffs or in this year's NBA playoffs with an ad like this?
I love Kevin Love. I was biased. I'm the one that threw this in there. I like him as a Timberwolves, as a Cav. I've kind of followed him. He's always been a player that I rooted for. I like this addition for the Heat. If another just bench player, throw him in at certain times you need a defensive stop or a big shot, couple points, a rebound. Kevin Love's always been able to do it all. I mean, he hasn't really played much this season, but I don't know. I like this addition for the Heat.
Yeah, it's a nice little defensive piece, but I think the Cavs are better. So I don't know why you're going from.
I agree.
I don't know.
They are better.
Just a little weird to me.
Yeah, I think it was a contract money thing, but I obviously any team. Like I said, I like him as a player, but I think him in Miami. I think this would be a good new look for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty, great stuff there out of the NBA, boys. Lots to look forward to here as the playoffs are approaching in the next few months. But let's jump over to our next league, the NHL. The first point I have here is out of the ACHA, actually. The NC State Ice Pack dominated the UNC Tar Heels with a 7-3 win in the first ever Frozen Finley game at Carter Finley Stadium on Monday, February 20th. Over 24,000 fans packed the lower and upper decks of Carter Finley Stadium to experience a once-in-a-lifetime outdoor hockey rivalry showdown, smashing the all-time ACHA attendance record. Attendance for the game was higher than the attendance for this year's Frozen Fenway games, which featured 2 NCAA D1 games combined. So very, very big news there for the ACHA. Lots of good stuff. 24,000 fans in that stadium. That's honestly insane. What do you guys think?
We said it, Carolina people just love hockey, and this is a prime example of it. A club hockey game. 3 club hockey players in this podcast. Mackie, Ace, could you imagine playing in an outdoor game for 24,000 people at WVU? WVU, North Carolina, like.
I played this team
insane.
this year, and they just sat in front of 24. They just played in front of 24,000 people. It's cool. I mean, ACHA hockey has come so long, even from like 3 years ago. I was talking to Addison about this a little earlier. Dude, like ACHA hockey is like real hockey now. Like the level of hockey has gotten 10 times better. Everyone's getting more engaged. More people know about it. People coming right out of high school. Like when I first came out of high school, I didn't even know what ACHA was. And then I came here, just started playing club hockey, and obviously it's become like a huge part of what of my college career. But it's just becoming so big now, and everyone knows about it. They're just drawing so many crowds, like especially in Carolina. That's sick, dude. 24,000 fans. I mean, these kids are literally just getting drunk 4 days out of the week, and then they're going to play in front of 24,000 people. I mean, that's so sick.
Those are good teams. Yeah. I mean, their history has shown. I mean, NC State's really been putting on a show in the ACHA for years now. I think I saw something.
Not this year though.
6 titles though, or something like that in the ACC themselves. So they've been building that program well, and I think they've been advertising this. I remember rumblings of this when we were when I was still playing there, and it finally came true. So that was nice to see. But I think I saw something on Twitter today. There was someone from the Maine Black Bears, UMaine, NCAA D1 team that transferred onto the UNC team.
NC State or UNC?
No, on UNC. I played against him earlier in the season. Yeah.
How good was he? He was the NCAA.
I mean, he was good. He was
guy?
He was a defenseman. He was like, I mean, he had the skill and everything. Definitely seemed a little washed. I don't think he got a lot of PT up there at Maine playing D1 hockey, but I mean, kid was good at hockey. Dude, there's a few kids that do that now. Like, these kids are good at hockey. These kids played some really good hockey. It's like not like.
Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, as the game continues to grow, we know there's a lot of room for the college hockey to grow, and some of these bigger name schools will be starting to get more NCAA teams out of the ACHA realm. So it's great to see it coming a long way. Great to see the turnout for that event for sure.
Yeah, and like you both said, I don't think it would be crazy to start seeing. I know it's a big step, but whether it's more just the draft pick or the signing, I could see ACHA in the next 5 to 10 years have a couple more guys in the big show in the league.
Especially D1. Like, dude, those teams like UNLV, they play D1 programs. They played LIU Division 1. Like, they're right there. If you're playing for some of those teams, you're like, you definitely have a shot at playing really good professional hockey after your career or after your college career.
There's already been 3 ACHA players in the NHL, and one won the cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, that is cool. That's insane.
I was going to say, I think there's more than enough room for, ACHA and NCAA, like Division I type stuff in the world. There's more than enough people that want to watch it. There's more than enough players that want to play it. I think they can get 2 solid leagues there.
There's probably 100 times more teams in the ACHA than there is NCAA D1 or D3 combined. Yeah. So that's another thing.
I don't know. It works. I like it.
These 2 teams play like 5 times a year, and then they play each other on Friday in regionals too. That's crazy.
Jeez.
How do you get drawn against each other in regionals after playing each other? I mean, they just played Monday. Now they're playing again Friday.
That is wild.
Alrighty,
this is sick.
Let's move into some news for the NHL. Some trades that we have coming up here. Maple Leafs acquire forward Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Asciari in a 3-team deal with the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild, as well as the Maple Leafs there. Blues gave up, looks like 2 players and 3 picks. Or sorry, the Blues got 2 players, 3 picks. The Wilds got a pick here in 2025. Lots of moving around there in that 3-team deal. Lots of good stuff there. O'Reilly had his first career hat trick as a member of the Leafs on Tuesday night against the Sabres. Could this addition help the Leafs? What do you guys think?
I think that's a great move by the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, a team that can't really get over the hump in the playoffs when it's go time. Really, the season flips there. It's a whole different game. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly led his team to a Stanley Cup victory over my Boston Bruins in a hard-fought 7-game series. So he has the championship pedigree to come in. Kind of like, I mean, Tavares didn't have winning under his belt, but veteran experience too. Depth at a price. We saw the price they paid, but I think it's well worth it. They think that they have a run at the Cup this year, especially after a great season they put together. And then I think I put a note in there for you guys. I was unsure if you saw it or not. That line combined for 13 points the other night. I mean, he's playing with Mitch Marner and John Tavares. That's insane. As your second line in Toronto. So, and they got Noel Acciari too. I mean, it's another depth piece, grinder on the 4th line. He's been to those playoffs. Lost to Ryan O'Reilly in the Stanley Cup Finals. Rhode Island guy too. Pretty cool. Shout out Rhode Island. But great move on the Toronto Maple Leafs part, in my opinion.
I agree, and the depth that they have now in the middle of the ice with, like you said, their first and second lines are just so gross, and they don't have the greatest blue line in the NHL or let alone in the East. But I think the scoring that they're capable of doing on any given night, Matthews, Marner, O'Reilly, Tavares. I heard they were talking about sliding Tavares over to the wing and moving O'Reilly up to the second line center. That'd be obviously another scary line, like you said, a very veteran line that's been there, done that. I think it's a good move for the Leafs, so I'm interested to see what they can do. Obviously, Austin Matthews having the year that he's having, but like you said, it's always come down to them in the playoffs and what they're capable of doing, and if they can get out of the first round. But if I'm like a Tampa Bay or a team like that that's going to see Toronto in the playoffs, this move does scare me.
I still don't think that's enough to get them past the second round. I think they do get past the first round for the first time this year. I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning they have championship pedigree and all that, but they're a weaker team than they have been in years past. I thought last year they were going to fall off a bit, but I think this year they fall off a bit more, losing some guys like Palat and the whole rest of them. I mean, Gord. There's a lot of other guys out there that they've lost, especially along that blue line too. Just their depth is going down. There's so many scoring pieces on the Maple Leafs. I think it's going to be a great series. Again, Toronto, Tampa Bay, we get that every year, it seems like. But I do think that they have enough to get past, but still the goaltending issues scare me.
Good stuff there, boys. What about some of these other players that are possibly up for grabs here at the end of this season before the trade deadline? Patrick Kane, Timo Meier, Jacob Chekherin, Matt Duchene.
Yeah, I mean, those are some big names on the market, and we've been seeing them get scratched. I know they scratched Chikrin for the last few weeks. A lot of rumors of him going around. my Bruins were involved with him. Patrick Kane, I mean, that we've been beating that drum for over a year now, and there's still no move made. I saw he wants to go to the Rangers now, especially after seeing Tarasenko get freed. But I don't know. That's a heavy price to pay for Kaner, but it'd be interesting to see where he would go. That'd be an immediate impact, especially for this season and somebody's playoff hopes. But Duchesne, another guy that's been on a lot of teams that have gone the distance. I don't think he's gotten a cup yet. I think he led his Nashville Predators to the Stanley Cup and lost a few years back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was there. Him and James Neal.
Was it to the Penguins?
Yeah, him and James Neal lost to the Pens.
Yeah, so Duchesne, I mean, that's another great guy you can add, veteran leadership and scoring at depth. So I have a feeling a lot of these guys will be on the move, and we'll see where. Timo Meier, he's one of the younger guys, star on the market, but we know the Sharks are sellers all the time. So I saw rumors of him going to Carolina. That would be pretty nuts. But we know it's going to be one of these contenders that's going after these pieces. It's just who's willing up to give up those valid assets, you know.
I saw also shakeups of Patrick Kane to the Dallas Stars because the West is kind of a wide open conference this year, and the East is going to be such a battle. I could see him want to go to a Western Conference team. I think
I
Dallas
saw Edmonton.
I just can't imagine him wanting to live in Edmonton, but obviously,
Yeah, I know.
McDavid.
Yeah, I think Timo Meier definitely gets dealt. It matters where he. Looking at New Jersey, New Jersey needs to do something if they want to beat the Rangers in that first round. It's looking like.
Is he from Jersey?
Play.
Why does he keep getting tied to Jersey so much? He's not even American, is he?
No, he's not. He's from like
Germany,
Europe.
maybe.
No, I think he's definitely European. I don't know. That was his first spot, and that's who needs to make a move, and this is one of the biggest free agents. So, I mean, that Devils team, I am not scared to play them in the first round at all.
I'm not either.
So, I don't know. They got to do something. I think that they should definitely go after him at least. I don't know. Patty Kane, I could see him not getting dealt. There's just so much going on around him. I don't know. They're not going to find anything.
It'd be such a letdown if he doesn't get dealt.
It's going to happen. I mean, this is how it goes.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to the Rangers.
They'd have to be giving up. They definitely have pieces to give it up. But I mean, I think their big.
This is the year to do it.
No, we have
I
to
think
like
their
send.
splashes with Tarasenko.
We have to like send a guy down and then like clear another guy, and then we have the space for it.
Yeah, Mackie, that's what the
really
Bruins have
weird.
too. You have to jump through hoops to get the guys you want. So it's going to be depth. I mean, that's why I was surprised they already got that Tarasenko deal done. I don't think they're going to do anything else too big. Maybe they acquire some bottom six guys, but the Bruins, same thing. I don't think people said Chychrun for us. I mean, I don't think a lot of these big names are getting moved to.
I keep seeing Chychrun to the. I keep seeing Chychrun to the Kings.
The Kings. Yeah, I saw that too. Actually, today I saw that too. I mean, the Kings are in win now mode. They have a lot of assets. Actually, a lot of young guys on that team after a few years of terrible play. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm hoping within the next week or two, as the trade deadline comes about, we have some more news to report upon for the pod. So that'll definitely impact all these races coming down the wire.
Lots of news coming down to the trade deadline here, just 9 days away. So we'll keep an eye on that here next week on our podcast. I assume lots of news here in the coming days of the deadline. Let's jump into some standings here, and go over some of these teams here in the NHL, the Eastern Conference, in that Atlantic Division. The Bruins still taking the top there with 91 points, followed by Toronto with 78, Tampa Bay with 75, and the Panthers behind them with 64. The Bruins have a commanding lead there in the Atlantic Division. Ace, what do we think?
Yeah, I think they were tying the record for the fastest team to 90 points in a season with the 79-80 Flyers. So that's pretty cool to see. All these accolades are great, but I'm just happy they're continuing their success and they don't hit a little slump. I want them to keep streaking going into the playoffs and playing some good hockey. I mean, healthy too, so that's great. Wondering if Sweeney will shake something up at the deadline. He always loves to do that, but like I was saying earlier, it's tough to find that cap and wiggle around with such a tight lineup for the Bruins. But the craziest thing is the tandem of goaltenders that are doing so well. Some weird trade rumors I heard that someone was like, we should move one of our goalies. It's like, no, they're going to be mainstays for years to come. But the Bruins are playing great hockey. Pasternak up to over 40 goals in the season. I think he's going to beat McDavid in goals for the season personally, but that's a little biased take. But I mean, it's definitely a good chance.
Didn't you bet that?
Yeah, I bet that a while ago. Him to win that race. But there's a good chance he does. I think he's one back of McDavid right now, and McJesus is giving out those apples all the time. But if he keeps getting those flip ups over the net like he did last night, I mean, no, Mackie and I cashed on that Oilers -1.5. What a crazy goal by McJesus, huh? To catch that puck line.
Just flips it up and it finds its way to make it in the net. I was like, only him. I didn't even know he shot it, and then once it went in, I was like, of course.
I mean, yeah, so things like that are crazy. But I do think Posty's more of a shooter than McDavid, so I think he can get the job done. But other than that, obviously the Bruins are going to go on to win the Atlantic, I'm pretty sure. But the Leafs, like we were touching on before, that's the team I'd be afraid of. I don't know about you guys. Who's a threat to these Bruins and the rest of the Eastern Conference come playoff time from the Atlantic?
It's going to be tough.
I'd say the Leafs.
Yeah, probably the Leafs.
You got to worry about Vasilevsky. You got to worry about Vasilevsky.
Always, right?
I don't know. I don't think your biggest contender is coming out of the Atlantic. I think you have to worry more about the Canes and maybe the Rangers. I don't know. The Rangers are falling off a little recently. They're on a 2-game slide right now. But dude, I mean, you really don't have to worry about anyone right now if you play your game. We saw you guys slide 3 games before the All-Star game or All-Star break. I thought maybe they can come back down to earth a little, and you just picked it right back up right after the All-Star break. Like you didn't skip a beat. So I don't know. This team, I think their only competition is really just beating themselves.
Yeah, and in the injury bug, we saw Jake DeBrusk finally come back to the lineup after the Winter Classic, and he's injected some life into the power play. I think it was 0 for 17 on that skid, I heard. And he came back, scored his first game back, scored again last night. So great to see him continue his success, and that just helps the depth of the Bruins so much. Pushes everybody down a peg, gets Hall on our third line. So, I mean, that's craziness. But the Atlantic Division's tight, and we know that the Bruins, Leafs, and Bolts will be there. It's just a question of whether the Panthers and Sabres can get into that wild card race. But I think as we shift over to the Metro here, I think some of those teams are going to be rounding out the Eastern Conference this year.
Yeah, good stuff there out of the Atlantic Division. I wanted to add, I think right now is the best time for some of these teams to be taking a skid, like you said, Mackie, with the Rangers on a 2-game skid there, because after this trade deadline, it's then now, time to hit it. So if there's a time to take a hit, I think now's the time. So let's move over.
Granted, they won 7 straight before that, but they are 2 games.
Right. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's jump over to the Metro. A little more closer of a race here, even though Carolina does have a 5-point lead on the Devils. Devils at 79. The Hurricanes at 84 points with a win last night, taking a more commanding lead there. Rangers behind them at 75. Islanders behind them at 65, and the Pens behind them at 63. So very much more tight race there for different sections of the Metro Division. Who do we think is going to come out of that? What do we think is going to happen in these coming weeks?
Yeah, obviously Carolina is most likely going to win this division, even though it's still kind of a tight race. They're clearly the best team, and I don't see the Devils catching up to them. If anything, I see the Rangers catching up to the Devils, getting that 2 seed. But I don't know. You Yinzers over there, you guys got something to be worried about. Those Panthers are getting hot. Islanders getting hot. Washington's falling off, so they're kind of falling out of this right now. But you guys got a lot to be worried about right now. You're on a little bit of a skid right now. What do you have to say?
I think getting Jari back helps. Obviously, he didn't win his first game back against the Islanders the other night. I had the Penguins. I think we had a -1 on the card, but I think getting Jari back is a big addition. And obviously, I think who's our next game tomorrow? Edmonton's coming, big game tomorrow night against McDavid on our home ice, and I think it starts tomorrow night. You get Jari tomorrow night. If he gets a win under his belt, I think Penguins can get under a nice little win streak. But it starts with the first one. You got a big one tomorrow night, I think. Obviously, the race we're in right now with the Islanders, and honestly, you guys are kind of, like you said, ahead more with the Devils and the Hurricanes kind of sitting up above themselves. But I said this Islanders team, they just picked up 2 wins on us. Those were 2 of the biggest losses of the season for us because it totally flipped the standings. We had 2 points on them. Now we're down 2 points on them. But like I said, tomorrow night's a big game for the Penguins.
Huff, I mean, the tough thing is those teams are making splashes at the deadline. The Pens have yet to do anything. Do you think there's any room for Pittsburgh to make a move here?
There's tons of room, but our GM's an idiot.
I don't know why they didn't make any moves or aren't really in talks to make any moves. They're kind of playing and are sitting stagnant where they're at, and I don't know if they're seeing the same standings that I'm seeing, but I'm looking at the same situation you guys are, and we're kind of a bubble playoff team right now. And if I'm, Lemieux or Hextall, any of these guys high up in the Penguins front office, and I'm saying, okay, this core has won 3 cups and 2 in the past, however many years, 6 years, and I mean, you gotta make an addition here, but it's not looking like we're gonna get anything. And if we do, it might be a kind of a minor move, like the Penguins like to do. But
Yeah.
Ace, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you have to think about here is, though, even though obviously you want to make a run every year, the Penguins' front office are like a lot of teams looking at their assets and looking at the future. I mean, maybe they think even a move at the deadline doesn't put them over the top. They are just what they are, a bubble team and nothing more. I mean, obviously anybody can get in and make a run at the cup, but maybe they're not looking at themselves as a cup contender and they really want to hold on to those pieces for the future because you don't know what's going to come after Letang, Malkin, and Crosby.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You look at the team that we're competing with in the Islanders, and they just went and got Horvat, who had, I think, 3 points against us in the last 2 games.
The tough thing is, why are you re-signing all of these veterans if you're not going to make moves at the deadline to make runs? You can't have it
That's
both
the whole
ways.
point,
It's got to
yeah.
be one way or the other.
And the Penguins used to be that team to go out and get the big guy at the deadline. Remember, I mean, years ago, we went out and got a Ginla at the deadline, and then Neal the year before. And it was like we always went and got that goal scorer at the deadline. We're like, oh, shit, is this the Penguins' year? Is this the Penguins' year? I mean, at least we always did because, I mean, I'm from here. That's my team. But, like, they used to go out and get all these big guys, and it seems like the past couple of years they haven't really done too much in the trade deadline or big, really free agency market, big name idea. Like you said, they re-signed all these veterans. Like, we got Jeff Carter locked up for like 2 more years. It's the last thing I want.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I think the Washington Capitals are definitely a team to keep your eyes on too. I know that they've been falling a bit, but they're getting healthy, and Tom Wilson's playing good hockey again now out of the break. I mean, definitely not a team to sleep on. I know Ovechkin's out right now, but when he's back and they have everybody,
He's coming
firing,
back today. He's on a plane back from Russia
playing tonight.
today. I don't know if he's playing
Yeah.
tonight. He was flying back
No,
today.
he's not playing tonight.
They're not playing tonight either, are they? They're not.
No, they don't play
They said
tonight.
he'll be back at the end of the week, so maybe his
Yeah.
next game.
So
All
when
right,
when they get back, they'll be good. I think.
Yeah, they're on a 5-game skid right now. They haven't won since he left.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, let's go around the horn with who we think are our best wildcard team, or two wildcard teams to come out of the Eastern Conference. Mackie, let's start off with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this race is so tight. Right now you have at least 5-6 teams that can easily get in. I'm going to go with Florida as the first wild card. I just think this team had a slow start. They're one of the most talented rosters in the NHL, and I think they're going to really find their stride here. And I'm going to go with the Red Wings as the second seed. A little biased here. I do really like this team, and I've been riding them all year. But, dude, this team is just incredible. They're valued at plus money almost every single night against contenders that they should not be plus money against. They were plus 130 last night against a very injured Caps team. I cashed on that off card, but I really like this team. I like this young team down the stretch. Husso's playing incredible hockey in the pipes, and I just really think this team can find that second wild card spot. Obviously, you're going to get dealt the Bruins in the first round and get cocked in 8 days, but it'll be nice to get that playoff experience in for those young players. I think Pittsburgh sits at that first spot out, and then Islanders right after that, and then Caps after that.
Very interesting, Mackie. I like it. I could see it. Who's next? Ace, you want to go next?
Yeah,
Fuck
I
that.
agree
I don't
with you,
like
Mackie. Mackie, I agree with you on those Florida Panthers. I really think they're going to get there. I don't think they're going to get the 7th seed. I feel like they're going to end up with the 8, and they're going to draw the Bruins in the first round. That's one of the toughest matchups you can get if you're the Boston Bruins. I mean, Mackie, I agree with you. I'm right there. That's a great Florida Panthers team. They have a lot of talent. I mean, they went to the playoffs last year. I think they got beat in the first round.
They won the President's Trophy last year.
Yeah, they got beat in the first round, I believe, though, right?
Beat Caps first round. They got beat by Tampa.
They
in
lost in
second
the
round,
Battle of
4-0.
Florida.
Battle
Yeah.
of Florida, yeah.
4-0.
But yeah, I think they definitely get there, and they'll give whoever they play trouble, at least a longer series. But other than that, I think the New York Islanders are going to get there. Just their brand of hockey. Too much inconsistency from the Caps and Penguins. Those teams led by Crosby and Ovechkin, you expect them to be there every year. But goaltending deficiencies, injury bugs, lack of depth, I think it's going to catch up to them with an older team. I think the Isles are the ones that made the move to get to this spot, and they've made it year in and year out. Past few years, maybe not last year, but they went pretty deep a few years ago against the Tampa Bay Lightning to the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7. So they know what it takes. As long as that Barzal injury isn't too bad, I think that they can get there with Sorokin. Goaltending is such an important part of hockey, and their coaching staff too. I'm going to go with the Isles and the Cats to get my bubble teams in the East.
I do agree about. I think the Islanders are the. Let me get back to it. The wild card standings. I think the Islanders are going to take the wild card 1 seed, and whoever they draw, they draw. And I think obviously I'm going to say the Penguins sneak in and get the Bruins. But Mackie, I do agree. I think if the Penguins' inconsistencies keep up with them, I do like the Red Wings to sneak in here. I think Florida. My thing with Florida is their inconsistencies on the road. And Bobrovsky, he's like a 500 goalie, sub 500 goalie. I don't really like them with him in net. Obviously, take them a lot more with Spencer Knight in between the pipes. But I'm gonna go with the Islanders, Penguins, and then slash the Red Wings for the 8th seed.
Yeah, the Panthers, that's their one inconsistency this year is their goaltending. Spencer Knight's been hurt, but Bobrovsky has zero confidence. He's just not the goalie he used to be. So that could definitely end up hurting them down the line.
I think I said it earlier. I think getting Jari back, that's going to be my determination of the Penguins. I might have a different take in a week, but we have a big game this week or tomorrow night, and then I think we get a big one this weekend. So we'll see how we do.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Huff. Pens and Islanders seem to be my way of thinking for the wild card in the East. But I'm real excited about that game tomorrow. Like you said, we're going. So good stuff there. I think it's time to jump into the Western Conference. What do you guys think? Alrighty, let's start off with the Central Division. The Dallas Stars leading that division. Not too impressive. They're sitting with 72 points. The Jets right behind them. It's 71, so a close race there for first. Behind them is the Avs and the Wild, both sitting at 67 points to round out the top 4 there.
Just going to say real quick, Rangers are 6th in the Eastern Conference in points, and they would be 2 points ahead of any team in the West.
That's wild.
Crazy.
I feel like that's how it is every couple of years here. You know, years ago, I think it was the West. There was a lot more points being thrown around and things like that. And then, coming up now, it's the East. The East is taking its cake for sure. Ace, why don't you get us started here on the Central Division?
Yeah, what's pretty crazy, obviously love to see it from our perspective, considering our daily cards plus double-digit units. I think you see those teams a lot, those top 3 teams on our card a lot. More so because of the goaltending on the top 2, with Hellebuck for the Jets and Ottinger for the Stars. I mean, we're big on the Dallas Stars, and we take the Jets a lot too, and they've been proving successful. I mean, those teams have been in the Western Conference. Those are 2 teams that have not gotten as far as they'd like to each year, but they go to 7-game series a lot and end up on the wrong side of it. And I think those goaltenders really are, we said it last week, 3 and 5 in the NHL, in our opinion, 3 and 4, with Ottinger and Hellebuck. But that Dallas Stars team, obviously if they had Kaner, they're one of the favorites. But their depth around, they have Ben, Foxa, Hintz, Heiskanen, and Sagan, and the list goes on and on. I mean, there's so many good players out in Dallas, and that's why we take them every night, and it's showing successful. And it's a weak division at the bottom, so they're easy to feast on. But the Avalanche starting to come alive a little bit too. Saw Nathan McKinnon had that highlight goal against the Oilers and McDavid where he cooked them the other day. So it'd be nice if they can turn it up and become a force to be reckoned with in the Central. But yeah, those 3 teams at the top of the standings. I'm not too keen on the Wild. I know, Huff, you are, if you want to touch on them a bit.
I didn't know I haven't looked at the Western Conference standings much. Obviously, we're all Eastern Conference teams, but looking at the standings in the West, I didn't know that it was. I obviously knew it was a little bit more broken up than the East is, obviously with how tight the races have been throughout the Eastern Conference all year. But I've been high on this Wild team for the past couple of weeks. They've been really good for me the past week or so, winning a lot of games at home. Gustafsson has stepped in with Fleury's injury and really making a case for himself to be the starter if they can make the playoffs. And I think they do as one of these wild card teams, just to allude to one of my wild card picks in the West. And I'll just say I think if the Oilers don't slide up in the Pacific, I like the Kraken. So honestly, the teams that are in it right now, I think not much changes in the West. I think the Oilers and Kraken might shift, but other than that, I think the Oilers, Kraken, and Wild are all locked for the playoffs from my perspective. I'm not too big on this Flames team, and I think Nashville is just a little bit too out of it. necessarily don't really love what they're cooking other than UC Soros, but I like the Wild what they're doing. They have a lot of guys, but I'm hearing there's a chance that they're kind of going to unload at the deadline, which I think is interesting because they have guys like Greenway and Hartman, and I mean, not obviously they're not going to get rid of Kaprizov, but they just have a really nice core in Minnesota, and they're a lot of the times even to close to even money, and you can get them in a lot of really good chances on their home ice. But I like what they're doing, and I'm going to keep looking at them. But like I said, I like their chances to make the playoffs. Whether they go far in the playoffs, if they get Dallas, I think it's going to be a tough chance for them.
Great stuff there out of the Central Division, boys. Let's move forward to the Pacific Division. Leading that one is the Vegas Golden Knights with just a 2-point lead at 73 points over the Kings. Kings sitting at 71 there. The Kraken and Edmonton sitting at 70 there apiece to round out the top four. What do we think is going to happen here? The Pacific Division in the Western Conference of the NHL. Ace, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm with Huff. I like the Western Conference. I like the Pacific Division out of the Western Conference here this year. I'm really big on those expansion teams. I know they have that Winter Classic next year. I think they're going to have deep runs in the playoffs this year, though. The Seattle Kraken coming to life, led by their Rookie of the Year candidate, Matty Beniers. And they have a good supporting cast alongside of them. A lot of names under the radar. They picked up Eli Tolvanen off waivers from the Predators. He's rejuvenated his young career. They have Yanni Gourde. They have a bunch of names on the back end. They did a good job putting this team together, and it's really coming to life. That we see them on the card again a lot every night. Another team, like Mackie said, that's kind of underappreciated by the Bucks. They get some good value every night, especially on the road, and they get the job done pretty consistently. I know the Knights burnt us last night, but they're always in the mix at year in and year out, and they're right there again leading their division. So can't sleep on them. I think they go deep as they always have been, especially with Jack Eichel and all the other names they have there, Pietrangelo. But still, you got to worry about those Oilers. If McDavid can get in the playoffs, I mean, you don't want to see them. That's a scary team whenever he's on the ice. So that'll be one of my wild card bubble teams for the West. But just some touch on the Western Conference Pacific Division here. Yeah, surprising to see the Kings, but I like the Knights per usual and the Oilers out of there. But the Kraken are a good team. I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs, but they're going to get there.
Yeah, I agree. I think this West is just. I think they already have their 8 teams, like Huff alluded to earlier. These playoffs, I don't really see the Flames getting in. I don't really see who's that other team on the edge? Predators?
Nashville, St. Louis, Vancouver.
Those other teams. I think the only 2 teams that are that have a possibility are the Flames and the Preds. But I don't know. There's a lot going on up in Calgary this year with Huberdeau not really doing much. He's not happy with that team. I don't really see them pulling themselves out of the gutter to leap this Wild team, but I do like these 8 teams in the playoffs, and I think the Oilers will get that 3rd spot in the Pacific, and I think the Kraken will drop down. Not much else to say about that.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting race. I'm guessing Huff's got the Wild and the Oilers as his bubble teams, but for me, I'm probably going to go with the Oilers and my second team out there. Oh, it's such a tough spot to say.
No, I said exactly what Mackie said. I said I think the Oilers move up, and the bubble teams are technically the Kraken and the Wild.
Yeah, I can see
like that.
I think.
I do agree with that.
I think the Avs get that 1 seed in the Central as well.
Interesting. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry, like you guys said, but it's just a matter of how these teams get in.
Yeah, you'll see more shakeups 1 through 8 than you will 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Colorado, I mean, they got to move up. Edmonton should move up too. Yeah, it's pretty set there, though. I mean, Eastern Conference has a lot more going on, but who's going to come out of the West is the bigger question. It's kind of a pick your poison there, but I think these trade deadline moves are really going to impact the Western Conference more than we think.
I agree.
Alrighty, boys. I think that's just going to about do it for this episode. Episode 26 in the books here for Hit the Books. That's all I got. You guys got anything to add?
Not much. Just keep following daily cards. We're ripping them. We're winning too. So if you're not following them, you're definitely missing out. And that's all I really got to say.
Tap in and hit the books with the boys. I mean, we're gonna get you that bread. So you like double-digit units? You like green check marks? Come on down to the Hit the Books podcast.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's going to do it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
And that's going to do it for us on this episode of Hit the Books. Thank you to everyone who tunes in each and every week. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here. So please like, share, and subscribe wherever you can. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for our plays each and every night in the NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA, college basketball, and college football. Thank you again, and see you next week.